Okay, cool. Anyway, a bit of background. Basically, what we are trying to do is our goal is to kind of create a scaled up version of YC. But instead of finding experts in the field to invest in, currently, like for our YC they only invest in like those already is the experts in the fields. But we want to see if we can also create another alternative to perhaps university, so where we can teach people a process of how to become an expert in a field of a deep tech, whether it's biotech or AI or I don't know like nuclear fusion or aerospace or whatsoever. And just to go straight to building a company, because I don't know, like sort of like studying like the kind of academic process, it seems like a very very long-winded way to to get to eventually like commercializing something like pretty much as you do, like you you pretty much like a very deep experience on the bioinformatics. But so we had a thought, which is like right now we're thinking of like targeting either people, let's say, right, undergrad, or like let's say folks like from having 2 to 5 years of industry experience, or just like pretty junior, even like going earlier than undergrad, like just saying like, hey, where could you perhaps like instead of doing a personal system with us, maybe you just go and study less like 100 companies that are funded by YC or funded on Crunchbase, being like, okay, these are all the 100 companies in like mathematics, biotech. So let's go study all the products and all their commercialization process, and then let's go read all the research paper, and then these like companies are based off of, and then for whatever we don't understand, let's like ask ChatGPT. Let's find some courses or read some textbooks, or also like doing anything to robust in seeing us. Um, so let's say I have no idea, I'm just a layman person, like don't know anything about like the deep tech. So I have no idea about this. So like just what we would love to get your perspective on if this is possible at all, and I don't know, like just what you would think of this.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so you're discussing about finding a niche, and finding a niche is very, very critical because that defines the entire purpose and the goal of the company or the startup. So finding a niche is also one of the most challenging part of things. So there are a couple of things that I want to tell. One is that many of these students or people who are really early at their career, and they have a lot of motivation and they want to solve big problems that could be a problem for them when they are conceptualizing a startup. And I'm saying this also in what you have said, that we have seen in many studies that high schoolers are the ones that are like most enthusiast, and they many times solve like really critical problems that we are not seeing simple solutions for them. So I think that changes over time. When we get specialized, our life is also like getting complex, so our focus is on several things. So I think earlier, at an early stage of education, the enthusiasm is there, but also there is a drawback to it, is that the enthusiasm is so high that you want to solve world problems. So that is not an approach I would recommend. What I would recommend is to basically become more observant towards what is happening in your local surroundings, because many times those are the problems that are overseen or not being looked into by big companies. Because when you're talking about a big problem, many companies are working on it, and it makes life harder for you because they are well ahead of you in terms of everything. So I think focusing on those local problems is very important, and deep tech has that you know um, ability to solve many of those problems. Well, it could be in biotechnology, it could be in AI. Yeah, I'm not talking about quantum computing and all, those are very, very niche areas. But obviously when you are a deep tech, you are working on a very niche area. But I think it would be great if the user or if the students are observing what is happening around, what problems people are facing, especially in healthcare. There is a, because I work at bioinformatics, and there is a lot of work that is done through data. So one of the challenges is again the data, and that brings me to the second point, which is what you were discussing, that is it possible that uh, if I am a student and I'm a beginner, how would I approach, what would be my approach to this? Reading and knowing about things is very critical, and you have already described that research papers, chat gpt, and other things that are out there. Market analysis is very important. So once you identify a niche problem, and if you are kind of looking at, as I'm saying, you're looking at things, then the next thing is to collect information and data, which is where you would want to do, and that is where the exploratory research comes in. But I mean, this entire process of getting to funding is not so simple. So you have to be very sure about the things that you have put together, if whether if it is meaningful or not. Because what happens, especially in the field of biotech and life sciences, what happened is that not everything is like well documented, that you can find it on the internet. Especially the challenges part, and especially the part where the failures are defined, people don't document the failures. They publish when it is publishable, and it is only publishable when it is something new and results are relevant. Many times the failed experiments, they don't get reported, so you don't know what did not work. So you need to do you need to find experts at that time initially, to validate your idea. And I think we don't realize, but many people like myself and others in the community are helping such initiatives, where we can give a feedback which is based on real life experience, which the students are missing. So I think it has to be a collaboration between someone in expert and the realizing what students and a cohort can actually achieve. If we say that they would do everything and become like a Facebook or a bigger company, or like something like huge, is something I think which is not so realistic. So realistic is like an approach that you use the enthusiasm, energy, and ideas from the youth, and then use your experience to model it and guide them in a way that would make sense. So I think that model is something that I would recommend. So possibility, yes. One of the things in biotech and especially bioinformatics, I would say, is that there is I mean, there's a lot of data that many research labs are generating all the time. And what they do is that they have to put it in databases that are public databases, to get the grant, to get it published, because that is a prerequisite for all of these journals. So there is a lot of data that has been accumulated. So what we did recently was to run an entrepreneurship track, to develop an MVP based on that public data and the ideas. So similarly, like groups participated, and we used some guidelines. Like these are the guidelines that I think are general for any tech company to succeed. So basically, building a team which has a diverse expertise, like a science person, a person who is very good in coding, which is quite important because from apps to websites, you need to show your visibility, and also the tech. So we asked for different departments from university to contribute in this, and developed a program which is bioinformatics driven. So the department of business, where they're offering MBAs and the such degrees, engineers, coders, marketers, and scientists. So that is a strong team that you would want to assemble. Then I think the next step is to do the market understanding and the value of the product that you're going to develop. So a survey at that point of time to the prospective client is very critical, I think. And people don't do it often, because you need to understand whether whatever you have created is actually going to be useful or not. And one of the biggest challenges to get clients and sell your product. That is the last stage, many would say, but I think that is the most important stage for you to succeed and generate revenue. And that is how the VCs are also happy, the investors are also happy. So I think that is where you need to try to reach out to clients and make sure that they are agreeing to your idea, and just to get an idea of how things would work. Or you may get someone already after your product is done. So these are the things. And I think here partnership and collaboration is also important, equally important, because many times people from different area have different expertise and they have already done things. So these are the some critical points, I would say, overall, for everything. But yeah, as you are saying that is it possible or not? Yes, it is possible, but through a process that makes sense. Just a second, I'll switch on the lights.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks so
Does
much
that
for
make
sharing.
sense?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. But would you mind like rewinding a bit? Like, do you mind me asking for so for your company for OmicsLogics, like how did you come up with the insight on how like doing OmicsLogics on on working on the bioinformatics on to simplify the bioinformatics and enable this discovery of like molecular that diagnostics on in terms of like because
Yeah, I get
bioinformatics
the
is a very
question.
broad topic, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how do you like come up with the entire journey, like you feel like, oh, this is significantly like something that you a niche problem that you want to work on, like
Yeah.
spending probably 5 to 10 years working on it, like and you feel like that's 10 times better than like the currently what the solution exists. So yeah, I guess like how does everything develop in terms of, because for most of our cohort members, currently what they're facing, like no matter like whether they want to build a SaaS company or deep tech companies, they're usually struggling on the ideation part, to validate like if I'm working a niche problem. So how's it goes for you?
Yeah, so I think to do that, in my journey, you said that it is my journey that you want to know about. So I think it is a personalized thing. I mean, I realized what I missed in my journey, and I observed what is happening around. So, two aspects. So, first, I completed my education in academia. I realized how things are happening in academia, and everyone knows like how academia is, and you yourself has explained that what are the gaps in academia. Like people have to study so much to end up doing something like this, because you end up doing a PhD and a postdoctoral research that takes half of your life, and then you want to start this because then you're ready and people will accept you as a credible person. So I think that is what I wanted to address as a gap, and that is quite evident. You also realized, and I realized it in 2016. And then I wanted to understand that how this is being used in the market. Like, are people doing paying for this? That is very important to know. So I joined the industry after my academic career. And after I joined the industry, I realized uh, that it is clear that industry is at a different level, what versus what is happening in academia. And that is concerning, because when you're learning whatever you're learning in your master's program and PhD program, and if it is useless, and you have to get like 2 years of experience, 3 years of experience in industry to make sense, then there is a huge problem. So that is the gap I was kind of figuring out, because after joining industry, I worked with several big companies, big pharmas, and these are multi billion dollar initiatives or companies like Merck and Pfizer and all. And how they are doing their own data analysis, what capacity and what level of drug discovery this is getting involved in patient healthcare and all of that. Then I realized that the technology is growing in a very fast pace, and there are several startups also in the US. that were just flourishing at that time, and Moderna, one of them, that came up big in COVID time. So those were the companies we were reaching out to sell bioinformatics services, and we were collaborating with many of them to offer our services. That is how I realized that what is happening in the industry versus what is lacking in academia. And that's the initiative what is OmicsLogic is doing, is simplifying bioinformatics for beginners. Because we also realized, like, this was my own journey, and I realized that it is not so easy. It is an interdisciplinary field, and you need to know physics, maths, chemistry, biology, computer science. It's really insane. So how do you do it? Like, that is where I started working, and working with Pine Biotech, and they were on the similar mission, and they had a platform which simplifies bioinformatics by providing no code interface. So that is where I thought it would be useful for people to learn the logic, how algorithms work, and the output, rather than focusing on getting it installed, and like the basics. Like, people are stuck in basics because these are challenging steps. So we want to overcome that and come directly, bring you to the research part. And once you have experience in that, you feel really confident, and then you are really comfortable to do all of that you are supposed to do, like coding and all. But to make a easy landing is very important for everyone. Like, if I get an easy landing to anything, like Amazon as a platform is a easy place to buy products, right? So we prefer that. Similarly, whatever is visual and easy, people prefer that. So that preference is very important. Otherwise, when there are many programs which are like hardcore bioinformatics, but that is very specialized for few, not like a lot of people will be able to do. So scaling is an important aspect here, and scaling is only possible when you create something which is good for a lot of people. So simplifying that was important, and simplifying complex analysis is also what we do. And then it gets complex in different levels. You start from a very low level, beginner level, like a layman, and where you are just relearning few things. We want you to not have a biases. So that sort of thing is happening at the first stage, and then second stage, your intermediate level, then your advanced level, then you're working. So skill based, industry skill based, something that was the need, and that's what we try to develop. And then there were a lot of challenges, and there are still a lot of challenges. But what is important is to keep up with, like, be there. I mean, you don't you d- once you start something, you have to follow through and believe in it. So that is what is important in, I think, doing this. And for startups, I think uh, the validation, as you're saying, it comes through the customers. So I think the sooner you get there, the more you are going to learn and improve your product. So feedback is important, pilot studies are important. So that is post you MVP, when you have the product ready. It takes a lot of time, but I think it's a process that everyone has to go through.
I see. That makes sense. Though, like comparing on like the deep tech companies and like the SaaS company, because basically for typical SaaS startups, like you can probably have your MVP products, just to showcase to, at least you don't need to reach a certain kinds of levels of the knowledge in the field, but at least you can easily get your MVP ready within like just a couple of weeks, right? But then for deep tech company, that's not the case, because like you gotta do a lot of red labs or experiments on in terms of like probably like for quite some period of time in order to get your products ready and just to showcase to your users and really validate the idea. So how's the process for you in terms of like the validation part on like with your users?
Yeah, so I think there are different stages of funding here, and I think with an MVP, what you want to do is show the proof, POC. and you want to show that yeah, from that funding that you have now from the MVP, you have made it into a working product. So I think people who get to the place where there is an MVP could be done quickly enough. I mean, in bioinformatics, it would be, taking a small cohort, data from small cohort, and then coming up with an MVP, like you are finding a biomarker or you're finding a specific gene, and then you show that MVP and get that initial funding. And many times these are, safe kind of agreement between the investor, which is like an early investment. And because it is an early investment, then the terms are different than usual investment. So when you get an early investment, you have to be very wise with how you are investing your money, and you want to not, expand and do things. And many times this happens with many of the uh, entrepreneurs, that they go into different products and try to do several things at one time with that initial funding. So the important thing is to focus on what your niche is, and complete that product, validate it to a certain bit, and then the next step is to do a population study and, lab based things to, validate or develop a kit. But these places you can do collaborations. You can go for someone who is expert in this and collaborate and do a revenue sharing kind of a model. So these are possible after your idea and that initial early investment, you have come up with the product that actually works. So that has to be there, I mean. And these are like, in biology there are many aspects. So a group in Nigeria so worked with us, and obviously there is not such like lot of opportunities there, but they developed a vaginal kit using the microbiome data. And microbiome data is again huge, because it tells us a lot about, how um, the food we eat, what is its, implications, how it affects our health in every aspect, aging and all of that. So these are small projects that could be done for different demographies, for Nigeria, for a city in the US. And also people's eating habits are so diverse. You can do, there are so many startups that could come up from this only, who are working on a specific city, on a specific population, who eats a specific type of food, and lives in a specific type of environment. So I think there is not a lack of ideas, or there is not a lack of, things that can be done. It's just that people have to realize and look at it, observe and connect with the technology that is available and how it is possible. Many other companies are doing it for a specific type of clients. And I would also say that there are a lot of like you, if there is a big company and doing for a specific type of people, it is not required that you would not be able to do that similar type of work for your kind of clients. So there are many people on different places who would be your client, rather than, you're getting scared that a big company is doing all of it. So you could be providing personalized services. You could offer something which is, more suitable for a specific type of individuals. So I think there is a lot of things that could be done at a student level, using whatever is available.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Mohit, I just want to ask, like, so, among like all the years of experience in working on like bioinformatics, for example, like 10 years working on the bioinformatics projects, and like lots of experience on like getting lots of PhD in like the biology in terms of like the computational science. Just want to know, like, in terms of all this, I guess, like, how do you go about, like, developing like a deep expertise in bioinformatics, like becoming an expert of being able to start your deep tech company? Like, what do you think will be the most critical experience among all this years of experience, like, all this uh like the most critical one, which, because a lot of people like studying bioinformatics, but not all of them will eventually end up like being the deep tech founders founder companies. So in terms of all the experience that you had, like what how did you go about like developing in such a deep expert in terms of end up in starting your own company?
Yeah,
Which
I think that is because I was able to collaborate with a lot of people. So in my PhD, I collaborated with over 50 research groups other than my PI. So my PI was all right with it that I can collaborate, and he was also getting a lot of projects. And bioinformatics being a niche field, people do ask for help. So that really helped me a lot in terms of understanding that how I can work with other people.
Mhm.
In the end, tech is fine, you can get all of that, but for business it is to be able to work with other people also. So that is an important aspect for a founder, entrepreneur, and people who are into this, that experience and expertise. Many people are technically very very sound and very good, but they are not founders. And For being a founder, you have to be able to work with people and work with diverse set of people, and understand how and what they need, and what they want to hear from you, in terms of providing that sort of solution. So that comes with experience, and that experience is through all of this that I got from working in different type of projects. In my PhD, I published over 30 international research articles, which was just quite good experience. So understanding how research works in academia uh, was uh, was something that I learned really well there. And then some international experiences were there. In addition to that, then an industry experience again. So combining all of that, I think I was ready. I was really enthusiastic when I joined industry to do something on my own, and that kind of became more and more, but because I was in a part of a company where it was more like traditional way. The hierarchy is there, and all those things are there. Decisions are taken by a channel that is very difficult to break, whenever you even if your ideas are really good. So that was some of the drawbacks of working with a very big firm, or working with large companies, that you are not able to express, or it takes a lot of time for you to grow there and become someone who is influential in that way. So that kind of influenced my decision to do something on my own, where I can validate my ideas, and see if I'm on the right direction or not. So that's a risk that one has to take. But yeah, I mean, it gives you a lot of confidence that if things work out, it's great.
I see. Yeah, well, I know the time is running out. Like, I want to respect your time. So, like, last two questions. Like, I just want to like know, like, for you, cause for bioinformatics, I don't know, like in the field, there are lots and lots of research paper on, like Google Scholar, even like just basically search for Google it. Like, there are tons of like papers or review articles that you can take a look of. But then how would you recommend on like any platforms or that you would usually go to when you just want to keep up with the trend, although like what you just want to see like what's going coming in like or circulating in the field? How would you go about it? Because as a layman person, I have no idea like where to start. Like, I just randomly click and search Google for anything that I don't understand about informatics, but it's really hard for me to like uh search for the an article that's like probably useful for me to in terms of for me to start my deep tech companies. So how would you go about it? Or what's your current practice?
My so yeah, so I think good question. So this is a big challenge when it comes to finding resources, because there's so many. and that is what we did, like for especially for bioinformatics and especially for next generation sequencing. We did design these curriculums that make sense, because you would want to go step by step, and a PhD is a long process, like 5 years, 6 years. People, take time to understand all of that. So we developed a research program that is like 3 to 6 months. It's a mini PhD experience. That is one aspect. But my approach is to for those who are, for looking at diverse things, not just bioinformatics. I think Twitter and LinkedIn are two resources that I use a lot. And in Twitter and LinkedIn, I would follow certain popular, all of these research institutes and centers. They continuously tweet about, and also many of organizations who are, kind of generating revenue through traffic to their website by publishing these blogs, where they're trying to explain a publication which is new, which could be a new tech in, deep tech. And many of these publications are towards that side, but they are for an academic prospect. So what you need to do is to convert it for a commercial aspect. And many of these academicians are not doing it for a commercial aspect, but they are doing it for the grant they have got. So using those ideas and combining tools, and using open source tools, can make you can help you build a deep tech. So that is what I would recommend, to follow all those companies, individuals who are regularly posting about these new articles and new technologies deriving, that helps uh, in what way, how they are better than the previous technology. And if you can use those technologies in your deep tech, helping clients, then you have a commercial thing going on, and you're good to go.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Like, okay. Final quick questions is like, what do you think of the most, like, interesting or promising technologies in your field, that are, like, up and coming, that you think we can, any of our core members can, take a look in.
Well, I mean, now this is getting, like, the technology is evolving, and people are saying that, spatial transcriptomics or spatial cell analysis, which is, to understand where this signal is coming from, which exact tissue, gives us a lot of, data and information about personalized medicine. So I think personalized medicine and personalized healthcare is such a big field, because it is personalized, and we are what, like 6 billion or 8 billion people on earth. So you have like 8 billion, different problems there. So it's a endless market for personalized approaches. It could be healthcare, it could be research based diagnosis, or it could be research based treatment, where these new technologies such as gene editing, CRISPR-Cas is being used and getting results. Then you have those technologies where people are using, like, all these genetic information to all sort of like beauty products, for weight loss. There are like huge market for all of this, and I think billions and billions of dollars are spent across for all of this. So I think here, next generation sequencing technology is quite promising, and it is evolving. It tells us in depth that what is happening. As soon as we complete all of this, this is going to be a huge thing. And people who have data will be at a very powerful position, companies who have these data, because for example, OpenAI and ChatGPT is also using our data to train its model better and better. So they are like really really going to be way ahead. So because they are getting access to all of this data, and that is helping them improve their models. So I think that is going to be a very critical thing. And those who have started and those big companies will be well ahead. But we using whatever is there now or starting it now would be a good start.
Thanks so much for your advice and sharings today, Mohit. That's such a great time talking to you.
Yeah, same here. Take
Yeah,
care.
sure. Take care. Have a nice one. Bye
You too.
bye.
Bye.